Hey everyone! So today I decided to build a Victorian house. I think I mentioned in my last video that I was planning on doing this for this video. So in a different save file, I've been building a sort of completely Victorian style Newcrest. I mentioned in the last video how I like to build up Newcrest in one complete style, and that is just kind of my thing to do. And The Sims is like the favorite thing I do. So in this specific save file, I've decided to go with a Victorian style. And I've already built one house, the orange house that you'll see in the background. And then the whitish house that you'll see, the other one, is sort of half done. I've finished the outside, and I've also done like maybe 2 or 3 rooms inside. I don't know. I'll probably put that video up next. This video I'm breaking up into 2 parts. It is just I was 40 minutes into building, and I hadn't even finished the first floor. I finished the entire outside. I'd put the floor plan for the second floor, and I put down all the flooring. Walls and furniture nowhere to be seen on the second floor. So the next video will be me finishing up this build and working on the second floor of this house. I went for more of a darker style this time because the other 2 Victorian houses in this neighborhood are very bright and one's orange, one's white. So this one is a dark brown. And then I did something. I used the I don't know what the tool's called. I forgot, but it's trim. I used trim around the entire building. It's from Get Famous. It's probably my favorite trim. I think that's what it's called. But you'll see me put it on. It's my favorite one because it's not big. It's pretty thin, but it gives the build a nice look. And I use those like roof pieces from Get Together. A lot of this furniture, or not furniture, a lot of the stairs and the roof pieces are all Get Together, and so's the stone I use for the pavement outside. Here's me doing the floor plan. I decided, you'll see later, the 2 rooms on either side of the entryway I made, because it's an older house, like a men's parlor and a women's parlor. So the men's room has blue couches and like a cream wall, and the women's room has pink couches and a pink wall. Pretty stereotypical, but I figure it's an older house, so things like that were more common back then. But then there's also a more modern living room with a TV and the super fancy piano. I like putting pianos in the houses because I play piano. I played for 10 years, and I'm actually minoring in music in school. I mentioned in my last video I'm majoring in Romance languages, and I'm minoring in music. Or maybe not my last, but I mentioned in a previous video. I'm at the University of Georgia, by the way. Go Dogs. And I mean, this house is coming along. As you can see, I always struggle with putting on the siding, or not siding, trimming. I don't know what it's called. I'm going to look that up and put it in the comments or in the description of this video, because that's annoying me now that I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, I worked on the back garden too. That's what I've been doing with all these Victorian houses, is giving them a nice little back garden. Well, this one actually is pretty big. But that's where I put a fountain, benches, lots of plants. I just think that's sort of something I would really like one day. I mean, not to live in like a giant mansion, but to have a nice backyard, back garden. When COVID hit, my parents and I really worked pretty hard. Well, my parents worked harder than me on making the backyard at our house look very nice, and it looks a lot nicer. We put a bunch of mulch down, and we built a little fire pit area, and it just looks a lot better than it did before. It was mostly dirt before, and now there's lots of mulch, so it looks and where there's not mulch, there's grass. So it just looks a lot nicer. My dad's into tomahawk throwing, so we have a huge tomahawk range, which surprisingly, the worst incident we've had is my brother's friend cut his finger last weekend. He like cut it and it was bleeding a little bit, and that's like the worst injury that we've gotten from the over a year of people hurling tomahawks in my backyard. Surprisingly, also my deaf dog has not gotten hurt. Sometimes he will wander off and won't hear people yelling, and someone won't realize, oh crap, Homer is, right behind the target taking a dump because he's an idiot. But yeah, I have a deaf and blind bulldog. His name's Homer. He's super sweet. He's about 9 years old. We got him from my mom's co-worker's mom, which is a pretty funny way of getting a dog, but he's so sweet. I love him. He's very stinky because he does not like taking baths, and he will do everything in his power to not get in the bathtub. And he's pretty chunky, so it's kind of hard to get him in the bathtub. And then once he's in the bathtub, he just plants himself down, and like it's hard to rinse him off and all that. So he's kind of stinky, but I love him. We used to have 2 bulldogs. We had Putty. He was 12 and a half. He died last June, but he and Homer did not like each other because Putty thought he was the alpha dog. Putty was very much not the alpha dog, and Homer bit Putty on the head, and 2 of Homer's teeth got stuck in Putty's head. Putty deserved it. I love Putty, but he was a little shithead dog. He's the only dog to have ever bitten me. He was trying to eat my socks, and I pushed him away from my basket where I keep the socks in my room, and he just went to town on my leg, and the scar was there for like 2 years. I'm kind of sad it's faded because I do miss the little guy, even though he was a giant butthead. Oh yeah, and I put here I'm working on the women's parlor, and I put cross stitching that came with the new cottage living pack. I figured, it's an, like I said, old house, women, cross stitching makes sense to me. I guess if you're in live mode and you want to play it with it, like having the men and women separate, I think you can lock the doors I think you can lock a door for like all masculine Sims or all feminine Sims. I like that the Sims did that, where now in Create a Sim it's not male or female, it's masculine and feminine, and that way you can make transgender friends, or transgender Sims, well, I guess they could be friends, but transgender Sims, which is really sweet of them. I know some trans people, and I'm sure that I don't know how they feel about that, but I'm sure they're happy to know that if they wanted to play The Sims, they could more accurately create themselves. I do like how The Sims is very LGBTQ plus friendly. It's very sweet, and it seems like they're genuinely, like, they're not just doing it to do it, for like the publicity. Oh, I just realized I forgot to furnish the little sunroom. I will do that in the next video. But anyway, they're making art from like content from gay creators, which is really sweet of them. Here I'm answering some text. I think that's why it was like pause, or not pause, but like I wasn't doing anything for a second. I was answering a text from a friend. Anyway, it's very neat of them to be very inclusive of the community, because like I said, I think I said in my last video, well, I know I said it in a video, but I think it was the last video, that I am gay. So it's nice to see, games like, you can have a gay sim or a trans sim, or I don't think you can really, I guess you can consider them non-binary. I'm not sure if that's like an option, but they're very inclusive of everyone, and they've done a lot of they've like added a bunch of new skin tones and hairstyles and hair colors to so that you can more accurately make yourself, no matter what race or how you look like, which is really sweet of them, because I will say previously the options were kind of sucky for like skin tone and creating hairstyles and all that stuff. The kitchen, again, as y'all can probably tell by now, I like to make black and white kitchens. I think black and white kitchens look really cool, or not cool, I guess, but really fancy and nice. And this is a Victorian mansion, so I figured it deserves a black and white kitchen. I used the wood burning stove because, again, old house. I remembered to put a mailbox and a big trash can in this house, so that's a bonus. And I actually put appliances in the kitchen, like a dishwasher and a coffee machine and a microwave. I don't like the vampires chairs. The super fancy vampire chairs don't match any of the table. Like they don't, the colors don't match. But anyway.